Everyone, welcome back to another video. I just want to come on here and just start off by saying thank you so much for getting me to 200 subscribers. I feel like every video I always say that I've been lacking and I'm busy, which is very, very true. So I was super shocked to wake up one morning and I had like 250 subscribers from 178 that I had been writing out for months. So that was just absolutely amazing. So thank you guys so much for coming and watching my YouTube videos and just taking the time out of your day to just see what I have going on and what I have to say. So for this video, I am so excited to finally be getting into what I do with work and grad school and just finally just giving this video to you guys, because I've said it before in other videos that, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about it, and I just never actually got around to sitting down and talking about anything. So this is the time. I also have some green tea with me. So go ahead and grab your drink, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your snacks, whatever it is, because we're just gonna get right into this video. So first and foremost, I am an HR coordinator. I work in HR, which is human resources, HR for short. Had to give that out there just in case anybody's watching, they don't know what it is. And the reason why I actually work in HR is because when I was at Tarleton State University, I was a student worker there, and I actually student worked in the HR department. And at the time, I think it was called Employee Services. So the title was Employee Services, but it was basically literally HR. They all had HR titles. They were HR generalists, reps, VPs, directors. We had the whole nine, training and development, all of it there. And initially, I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I finished college. I went to school to be a teacher, then I changed it to ag teaching, and then I was like, I just don't want to teach, but I also wanted to stay in the ag realm just because I know that for myself in the future, I would like to run cattle, have a farm. I want to be very self-sustained. So that just made sense for me to go that route. There's also a lot of money into that. So if you take the time to do your research and, you know, that's something that you're kind of thinking about doing with school, but you don't want to be a teacher, I would say I would definitely just go for general agricultural services and development or ag studies or ag business, whatever it is, because you get all of the business classes, you get economics, you get, you know, animal science, you get horticulture, you get all of these things in one. And I just feel like with that degree, it really prepared me for life. Like, it's just crazy. People always say that, or at least in Texas, there's just like this ongoing notion that if you're an ag person, like people want to hire you and they love you, because they know ag and animal science students work really, really hard. And we're very just like cutthroat, get to the point. Even though Tarleton was a predominantly white school, I felt so in place with my program because these people were just no BS kind of people. Like, we were all there for a job. We were all there for our assignments, get in and get out. Like, there was no extra, there was no in-betweens. It was great. So I know that when I talk about HR, people are like, well, you went to school for agriculture. Yeah, but I also got a lot of the business side of it, you know, development planning, you know, all kinds of stuff. Like, agriculture is more than just running farms and looking at cows all day. Like, there's a lot more to it. Like, ag is like pretty much everything that you do in your everyday life. So if you don't know what you want to do and you want also an easy kind of segue to a degree, I would say that that is the way to go outside of psychology and kines and, you know, like just something that has like a substantial title and then being like a STEM kind of thing. Like, I would highly recommend doing that. So I just had to give that briefing because I know every time I talk about working in HR, everybody's like, oh, we went to school for ag and you're not doing anything related to ag. Okay, if you want to go there, fine. That's just my spiel. Even when I do interviews, I always have to like give that piece on it because people literally think of agriculture as only being farming and animals. And technically that's not even ag, that's animal science. But I'm not going to get into that because this is not the video or the place for that. So I was working in HR and it was great. I mean, I was doing receptionist work. I love being a receptionist. I've done that plenty of times. I worked front desk plenty of times. I'm really good with customer service. I'm really good with people and handling solutions. I just had a lot of experience with running things on my own, being on my own, working in super fast-paced environments and working at the front desk, answering phone calls. You know, that was my thing. So as a student worker, that's pretty much all that we had to do. But throughout the year with working by myself, because I also spent the summertime there and I was the only student that stayed over the summer, I learned a lot more. I learned about benefits. I learned about relationships. I learned about, or I should say relationships within companies. I learned about training and development. It was all about organization. There's processes for everything. Like, I was like, oh, this is my thing. Like, I enjoy doing this. So what happened was, after I was a student worker, I had to do an internship for my ag degree to finish out the semester, the summer semester at least, so that I can graduate in August. So from there, we had an admin assistant who was leaving. She had gotten pregnant and she was like, you know what, I'm not gonna stay, I'm not gonna do this anymore or whatever. So they kind of put me in that place. Well, what happened was I kind of brought it up that, hey, I would like to take over for this person. That would give me one, more responsibility so I can learn a little bit more about HR and get some needed experience. And two, it was also, I was already there. I had a lease for an apartment complex there. I just wasn't trying to move. It was paid for. Like, it was the most ideal thing that could possibly happen while I was still in school. So I ended up being the admin assistant and they signed that off as my internship. So for the summer, I actually did a lot more work and learned way more things while I was there. I was doing background checks. I was processing employee files. I was working on new training material for, you know, the next admin that would possibly come in after me. I got to be a part of the hiring process for a new director for our HR department at Tarleton. And something that I was kind of already leaning more towards was in my mind towards the end of me graduating in undergrad. I knew that I wanted to go to grad school and I knew that, okay, one day I want to be a director. And if not be a director, I want to just be able to have this knowledge so that when I do interviews like this or when I'm in a place like this, I know how to answer these questions. So I was there to just take notes pretty much on everybody that came into interview, and it was pretty intense. It was pretty much like a panel interview, but it was a room full of like 20 people, all people that were like higher ups, like VPs, the presidents, department heads, like everybody coming in and asking their questions and kind of throwing things at the HR, the person that was pretty much interviewing for a director. So we had 3 of those. So I took notes on that and noted what their answers were, just again, for myself. Like, this is stuff that like, and I still have these documents. I still have all this paperwork because I ended up typing it up and I was like, I'm gonna keep this and put it in a binder because this is like good stuff. Like, this is just, you're not gonna get this anywhere else. Typically, like, you're, as an admin person, you're not really, I would say, at least in my experience, you're not really involved in stuff like that. So the fact that I got to be a part of that and leave, you know, my desk to go sit there and do those things throughout the week, like, that was, y'all, like, that told me, like, you need to be there. You need to take all the notes that you can because you need to use this on interviews and for even general interviews for jobs that I was applying for. I knew that, okay, if somebody asked me this question, you know, I can look at this, or I'll know like, oh, I can answer it this way. This is a great answer. You know, like, that's pretty much what I took from it. Again, always learning experiences. And I knew I wanted to do HR out of college. So there was an issue when we ended up hiring the new director because initially I was supposed to pretty much take over and be on salary as a full-time admin assistant at Tarleton State University. Don't know what exactly transpired, that it was just kind of a lot of BS that kind of happened, and pretty much I wasn't getting the position. I had already done it, I'd already been there, and everybody was seemingly, you know, telling the new director, oh, you should really keep her. But this director was so adamant about, you know, interviewing other people and having a full interview and seeing, like, it was just a lot. And I just thought, like, okay, for an admin job, for a position like this, like, I don't think it's like a big deal. Like, I'm already here. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. So of course, on top of, you know, seeing what else was out there, I went ahead and applied to other jobs. So then I ended up being a market coordinator for a year, and I wasn't really happy with that. I didn't want to do that, but I wasn't going to turn down work. I wasn't going to do anything mediocre. Like, I was like, you know what? If this is the opportunity that I'm going to get, working in downtown Dallas, getting this corporate side of working and being a young professional, it was pretty much to the point where I was like, I'm not going to deny this opportunity. And this is the most money that I've ever made in my life. So why not take it? So I worked as a market coordinator for a year. I worked for a third-party hotel booking service, and I worked for the Canadian market, and then they switched me to Spanish. Like, they let me go for COVID, brought me back, switched me to Spanish destinations. So that was like Mexico, the Caribbean, like stuff like that, like South America. Then there was a whole issue with that, which I cannot wait to make this video, because now that enough time has passed, I can talk about what happened at that job and how I pretty much got screwed over by the end of it. Like, that's just like, I've been waiting to like really talk about this, because it's gonna go into why it's important for young people, I feel like, especially minorities, to always keep your options open and just know that your job always looks at you as being super replaceable. Like, I don't know, yeah, that story will probably help so many people, but this is not the video for that. But be on the lookout for that, because that is some tea in that freaking story. Like, that whole thing, that whole 2 weeks was like a hot mess. So after I got let go from there a second time, 2 weeks after that, I had already been applying to jobs in Austin, and I had been applying for HR jobs because I was like, I'm just not happy. I want to do HR. I told myself I'd give myself a year here. Even during the pandemic, I was like, I want to move. I want to move. I want to do what I want to do. I want to get out of Dallas. I don't want to be here. I want to go and do the things that I want to do. I want to start my career. So I was applying to anything and everything HR. I was like, I don't even care if I have to start from the bottom and be an admin again. You know, even though I have the 1.5 years of experience working in HR, it's still kind of like I was going to be very, very humble about making these or sending out these applications. Finally, 2 or 3 weeks after I had got let go from my previous job, based on the drama that had happened, I had got a call from the company that I work for now. It's a construction company. And I was really shocked because one, I'm not super into construction. Then I thought, okay, you know, construction makes sense because that's job security. Construction, when those jobs are paid for, like, they're going. They don't have time to sit down and wait for the pandemic. Like, they were all, like, this company and several other construction companies were still up and running and working because there were jobs that had to be done. There was money that went into this. There were contracts that were assigned. There are deadlines for everything. So I was like, you know what? This is great. Of all the places that I applied for, I applied to this one construction company, and they're the ones who called me back. So they were like, you know, we really like your resume. We like that you are, you know, you're looking to move. You're looking to be here. You're looking for something full time. You're obviously looking for something permanent and a place where you can grow. So we really just want to meet with you and all this stuff. Go through the interview process, blah, blah, blah. Finally, I get hired. So I get hired and I moved to Austin within like 4 days. Like in 4 days, I got an apartment, I signed a lease. I was like, I'm done, which is why I'm here now. And I started work like the next Monday, or Tuesday. No, started work on Monday. So I got the position as an HR coordinator. So it wasn't HR gen, but I also don't have the experience to be an HR generalist or the schooling behind it because I didn't go to school for HR. And I'm not done with my MBA program. I was okay with being an HR coordinator, and I had also given an offer as to what I wanted pay-wise, and they actually gave me more than what I asked for. So I thought, okay, that was cool. Then after a while of me being there, I got another raise. So I was like, okay, this is like really ideal. And the scheduling and everything, like it's a pretty chill job. I get an office. Like typically you don't get offices. When I was a coordinator, or when I was a market coordinator, I was in a cubicle. There are a lot of perks to being here and working here and getting this experience. So right now, full-time, what I do as an HR coordinator is I am currently processing all new hire paperwork, and then I assist with any additional jobs that are more higher level that admins wouldn't really be able to do, but just with benefits, terminations, anything dealing with compliance issues, compensation, like stuff like that is more on what I do. But my day-to-day typically includes just processing new hire paperwork, which is getting all the documents, making sure the forms are filled out correctly, making sure that I have all the IDs, making sure that everything is in guidelines with how the federal government wants you to fill out paperwork. And that is a lot of work, okay? That is a lot of work. Also, I am the only HR coordinator in the HR department who processes new hires, and our company is spread across the United States. I'm the only person that does it. I am the person that they come to, and of course, if I need help, I can ask my HR gen, or she's actually my supervisor, but I can ask her for assistance. But typically, I don't ask because she has a lot going on, and I'm kind of like, you hired me to do this, so I'm gonna do this. Like, it's gonna get done. One way or the other, this is my responsibility, and I'm going to get it done. So sometimes I do get overtime in the week too, which is nice. It's nice to get overtime, especially because I'm an hourly employee. It's a non-exempt position, which means hourly. And with the pay and getting overtime, like your checks can run up like really, really quickly. And then on top of that, working in construction, I will say you also get paid weekly. So every Friday I have money hitting my account. Every single Friday, money is hitting my account. And you wouldn't think that that's like, you'd be like, oh, I can run through money quicker, but actually no. Getting paid every week like that has actually helped me manage my money way better than getting paid bi-weekly or even once a month. So truly, I enjoy what I'm doing. I love working in HR. I think that if you don't know what you want to do, but you are an organized person, you're type A, you like processes, you like things to have its place, and you like independent work. If you are trying to get into HR and you don't have the experience, you can always go through a temp agency and start off like as an admin, or if you can get your way into being a coordinator, that's great too. I would also say that if you have a degree, but it's not in HR and you don't want to go back to grad school, I would definitely look into getting your PHR or your SHRM, and I'm just gonna put at the bottom what those are. But those are both certifications that you can get for HR that are very, very like, I wouldn't say that they serve super high importance, but they do give you a little bit of leverage because those are not easy certifications to get. I think the PHR is it's a $300 test exam, and then the SHRM is a $500 one. I decided to get my MBA because I was wanting something that was going to give me that leverage in HR for one, but I also didn't want to get an HR management degree just because if there's ever a point in time where, say in the future, I don't want to do HR anymore, I want to be able to use my MBA for something else to stand on. I just knew that I wanted something that could be diverse, but that would give me that credential by my name. Like, I just feel like that's so important to have when you're trying to build a name for yourself when you're a young professional, when you're in your 20s. I just felt like the MBA was the way for me to go, unless it's something else that was like core specific to what you're doing when it comes to like other stuff, then that's another thing. But in this video, we're talking about an MBA versus an HR management. And I even spoke to my previous mentor. She's actually working as an HR manager here in Austin as well for a different company. And she was telling me, you know, it's funny that I didn't get my MBA because I didn't want to do the math classes, but I pretty much do that now. So she was like, I didn't learn any of this in HR management, and that's all I do now. I just do compensation. And I was like, oh yeah, that's funny. Like, that's true, because with the MBA program, you're gonna take accounting 1, 2, you're gonna take finance 1 and 2. If you haven't taken, well, I'm taking prereq, so I'm taking accounting 1 and finance 1, and then I get to take the real ones after I pass the first 2. So I was like, so that is true. Like, you have to take those to pass, and you really do need them, I would say, in HR, especially if your HR is combined with payroll. Our payroll and HR are separate, but I know some companies, if you're an HR rep, you're also doing payroll and accounting kind of stuff, especially if it's a smaller company. So again, the MBA was just like, it just made sense for me to go through with that. And I currently go to Lamar University online. I don't mind disclosing that with you guys. I go to Lamar University online. I don't really have any complaints about the program at all itself. They're 8-week courses. So it's, instead of 16 weeks, you take 2 mini semesters per semester. So spring, you have spring 1, which is 8 weeks, and spring 2, which is 8 weeks. And you can take up to 2 classes each to get 4 classes for the semester, which is how a lot of people graduate in a year. Now, I failed intro to accounting class and I laugh because I am not good at math, accounting, finance. Like, that is not my thing. Like, I took economics, I took ag economics. I remember when I was in undergrad and I got a C. Like, I barely even passed that class. These are just not for me. I'm not very strong in that department. But it made me feel good because in our support group chat, a lot of people were like, oh no, I failed it the first time too. You definitely have to take it again and keep all the notes that you had from the first time that you took it. So I have all of that stuff and I'm pretty much preparing myself. And to make it worse, I'm taking it during the summer. And this class, there are 15 to 20 assignments due weekly, and you have quizzes and tests. So this class requires a lot of attention. So I was taking this class along with another one, and I passed the other one, but I didn't pass this one. And I just think, honestly, I just didn't have enough time. I didn't put in the time that I should have put into this class. So my whole summer is gone. So I told my friends, I was like, if you guys want to hang out, you're gonna miss me because I cannot fail this class. And I'm paying for this class out of pocket. And I just need to pass it to just give myself that confidence that I'm going to graduate on time, because I am now not graduating in December. I'll be graduating next May. But I also, because of what happened with the last 2 mini-mesters, I mean, I passed the other classes that I was taking, but I was like, okay, I have the harder classes left. I'm going to pretty much change my degree plan because I do not want to be dealing with being stressed out, working full time, coming home, spending 5 to 6 hours in my nighttime. I just don't want to do that. I learned my lesson. I'm not doing that. So I was okay with moving my graduation to May of 2022. I'm pretty much like, hey, it's gonna get done the way that I need it to get done. I'm not gonna stress myself out. I stressed myself out with undergrad and ruined a lot, did a lot of self-sabotaging because I was just not used to that lifestyle and school, and I'm a first-generation college. There's a lot of pressure that I really put on myself. So if you guys are in Texas and you're interested in doing an MBA program, I would recommend Lamar. Lamar is also the cheapest, and I will mention that they did not require us to take a GMAT, or I don't remember what the other one is called, but they did not make us take that test to gain entry, okay? So I don't know if they're gonna change that. I don't know if that was just a COVID thing. I can't be too sure because other schools that I was looking into, that was still required even with the pandemic going on. It was just going to be an online proctored exam. So I would recommend that, looking into that school if that's something that you want to do. And again, the accounting course is pretty much that, and finance is the one that everybody's like, oh my gosh, like those classes absolutely killed me. Like they seriously like effed me up. Like I had to change a lot of my scheduling and my degree plan. And when I was graduating, I had one guy who was actually, he's a nurse. He's a registered nurse right now, and he wanted to get his MBA. I don't know what exactly he's doing with that, but he did want an MBA to level up in what he's trying to do with his nursing stuff. And he was like, oh no, I took it slow. I took one class per 8 weeks, because he was like, I'm already, you know, pretty successful now in what I do. I'm in the career that I want to be in anyways. So why am I going to stress myself out? And it just made sense. He also had kids, and he was married. I think he's like 27, 28. He had 2 kids. He was also married. And I was like, honestly, if you can do it, and nurses have crazy schedules, okay? Like they're working like 12, 13-hour shifts a day. If you can do it and have that mindset of like, I'm good, I'm gonna get it done, I'm gonna, you know, it's nothing, I can do it, okay? That's pretty much like, that gave me like that motivation of like, okay girl, you can do this. Like, yeah, you failed this class, but you know, pick yourself up, don't cry about it, get yourself together and go back into it stronger, more prepared. You know what to expect. Be ready for what everything's going to throw at you, because you can do this. You can literally do this. So I have to pretty much give myself a whole entire pep talk. So I do recommend going back and getting your MBA if you're looking at doing HR stuff or anything like accounting, business development, risk management, whatever it is. I would recommend looking into those things if you want to leverage yourself. But also, if you don't want to do that, again, don't be afraid to get certifications. I'm still going to apply to get my PHR, and then I'm also going to get my SHRM CP done as well, and have my MBA. So I'll have 2 certifications for HR, and I'll have my MBA. On top of that, I'm also getting my ACC and my BCC, which are 2 types of certifications for coaching. So it's academic coaching and then life coaching. So I want to have those 2 also, because I do love speaking. I think I've mentioned in a previous video from 2020 that I am writing a book. So I just want to have all my credentials lined up to match the things that I'm saying, and to just give that extra validation of somebody out there reads my stuff and they're like, well, how does she know what she's talking about? Or how does she know? Why should we listen to her? Why should we give her a voice? Why should we give her a platform? I have all of those things lined up, and I have the experience, the knowledge, and the expertise behind that. So I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person, but I just knew that I had to pretty much start somewhere when it came to figuring out how I'm going to stack and build on my professional name to get the things that I want in life. Really just sit down and think about what your goals are, what you're trying to do career-wise, what makes sense for you, what programs make sense for you. And you guys can always reach out to me, comments down below, or reach out to me on here or on Instagram. I'm always super willing to help. I'm just all about growth and growing your money and being financially stable. That's pretty much my spill on it. So don't feel alone, don't feel discouraged, don't feel like you don't know what you're doing. Like, take your time and just really think about the things that you want to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.